Hello dear YouTube, we're not really YouTubers. Hello dear viewers. Welcome to Ian and Jane do the Edinburgh Fringe in a corridor.
In a corridor.
This is, at the moment, this is the only place we can find to actually film that's fairly quiet. We've been to see different things, but they are connected by the fact that we're both for women, really.
Oh yeah, that is a connection.
Yeah, I went to see Flora, Macdonald and Zombies, and you went to see...
I went to see Mary's Daughters.
So, alright, so do you want to start and tell me about Mary's Daughters?
So, Mary's Daughters, subtitled A Feminist Ghost Story, tells the story of Mary Wollstonecraft, 18th century intellectual radical and mother of Western feminism, along with her two daughters, the forgotten by history illegitimate love child Fanny Imlay, and the infinitely more famous Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein. Yep. This feminist ghost story sends the audience on a fluid, poetic whirlwind tour through the lives, legacies and times of these three incredible women. And I will stop there because there's a little bit more, but that's enough. Okay.
So my first question is, would I have liked it?
I think you would have been very interested to learn about the women, because I know you don't know very much.
I've read Mary Shelley. Yeah. I've read Frankenstein. There's another book that she wrote.
And obviously, so three women playing those three roles. Very empty stage apart from they had some books at the front because they did refer to publications that, well, Fanny didn't write anything, but the other two did. And papers, because they were writers as well, and it basically, between the three of them, as the bit of blurb says, they told their stories, a lot of which I didn't know, how Mary Wollstonecraft, she died young. But she had actually attempted suicide twice.
God.
And Fanny Imlay died young as well. And Mary Shelley obviously also had sort of personal problems. But it was a lot about their relationship between the three of them. And what came out most strongly to me was the bitterness that Fanny felt. She felt she'd been abandoned. And she felt a lot of bitterness to her younger sister, which I didn't know about. And so, from that point of view, it was fascinating to have those, because they both sort of individually had their life stories told, not in a long, drawn-out way.
So, what was it, an hour?
I think it was 50 minutes.
That's 50 minutes. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't sound like my sort of thing. It does sound like your sort of thing, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think, the bit of history in it you would have been interested in. Less so maybe so they basically had a very complicated relationship. And Mary Wollstonecraft did actually die in childbirth, giving birth to Mary Shelley. So obviously they didn't have a relationship, but Mary Shelley was very aware of her mother's legacies in regards to the history of feminism, etc. And obviously, because they were ghosts, it wasn't as though, when we got to that bit of that story that Mary W disappeared, because she didn't, she wouldn't comment on. So that was really interesting. But the only, and I mean, again, these, as I keep saying ad infinitum, it's all very subjective, but there was a rather nice touch at the end where the two sisters told Mary W that there was a statue of her. Okay.
And that was quite a nice scene. Yeah. The dialogue of that, but it meant that the two daughters sort of went off hand in hand and left Mary W with the sort of the final words of the piece. Right. Now, the whole, up until that point, Fanny was so angry with her sister and her mother to some degree that she She was just angry for the majority of the piece. So for them to go off sort of hand in hand, it was a little bit. I could sort of understand why, because it sort of gave a positivity to the end of the piece.
But that doesn't sound very realistic.
But the fact that she had been so angry all the way through, it just jarred slightly with me. But yeah, it was it was an interesting piece. And well, I mean, I have to say, I did write some notes because I went straight to something else, so I needed to write some of these down. But I think I've mentioned everything.
So interestingly, I went to see Flora McDonald, who I knew nothing about, and zombies. So Flora McDonald, clearly a ghost, because I'll read a little bit of blurb and then you can get. So it's written and performed by Debbie Cannon. Flora McDonald was a Jacobite heroine, saviour of the exiled prince. I think that's Bonnie Prince Charlie, because we had him as a character.
It was.
Face of many shortbread tins, right? And ferocious zombie hunter. There's a bit more, but it was a small. This was at the Scottish Storytelling Centre, which we've been there before. We were there yesterday. But this is one of the smaller rooms. It would only really seat 30. There was 12 of us. I sadly, I did apologise that I was late because I'd misread the times. Be careful, viewers, if you come into Edinburgh, make sure you write down the right time, because I clearly didn't, and it was you that pointed out and said, you've literally got 5 minutes. I did really well to get there. I was only literally 5 minutes late. Good. But I hate turning up for things late. Although I was late, I don't think it made any difference to my feelings to the piece. I didn't like it. I didn't. It was obviously Debbie put an awful lot of work into it, and there was these characters. But for me, the characters all fell flat, and the jokes. I think I laughed twice. The jokes didn't resonate with me. Now they did resonate with some of the other 11 people in the audience. So if we take on board the fact that I am probably the wrong person, really. It was quite gory in a description of zombie killing at times, and there was a little fight between two bits of shortbread, which should have been quite funny, but actually for me wasn't. So it just, for me, the whole thing fell flat, really. There were a couple of little bits of songs in there. Now, what I couldn't tell was her guitar playing quite bad, because he didn't see, or was she pretending to play badly? I couldn't quite tell which was the truth there. On everybody's chair there was a little bookmark, and at the end, because she played several characters, she played Bonnie Prince Charlie, she played Flora, she played the schoolgirl in 2025. And there were stickers at the end, so you could pick up stickers to which character you actually liked. For me, I wasn't keen on any of it, I'm afraid, and I've struggled whether to even review it, if I'm honest, so it wasn't. It's a pity you didn't go, because I would have really liked your opinion on it as well. I suspect we would have probably been feeling the same, because I was sort of sat there thinking, this doesn't quite work for me, and we some of the humour, we are actually on the same page. I think we would have been on the same page with this. There was very little historical content for me.
That's a shame, and I would have wanted that. But anyway, I didn't see it, so I can't comment.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't. It was meant to be, as it says on the little thing, a rollicking and completely untrue adventure through Scotland's past, which it was clearly untrue, But what I will say is Debbie worked hard at it, and maybe it's just not my type of humour, really. But other people were laughing, including the 2 Americans that was out there.
Okay.
You know. So, should we do stars on?
Yeah, and I just want to add that the performances were really good.
Right.
In Mary's Daughters, all 3.
Yeah.
They were great.
Do you want to do stars first, and then we'll say when each one's on?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So I would give it a very strong 3.
All right. Okay. Well, my assessment of Flora McDonald is a weak 3. And like I say, I toyed with I've struggled with where I should review it all, but I will, based on other people's response in the audience and not my experience of it, I will give it a weak 3.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
But again, as we say time and time again, viewers, you have to make your own mind up. You know, who are we really? You know, just because it didn't resonate with me, you may absolutely love it, and if you do love it, please say down below. You know,
yeah.
and likewise for what Jane saw. We've done three and 3.
Yeah.
Both. That's you know.
Yeah. So Mary's Daughters is on a Space XXX big thrust theatre. I didn't realise that we were in there.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting. And it started today, and it's a short run. It's only on until the 9th, and they are doing 2-for-1s on the 4th and the 5th. That's Monday and Tuesday next week. It starts at 5 to 5. It's 50 minutes, and it's £12.
Right, so Flora McDonald and Zombies starts at 3:45, not 4 o'clock, as I was thinking. That's really for an hour at the Scottish. Actually, it doesn't say, but it's the Scottish Storytelling Centre. It doesn't say which room it's in. Actually, it doesn't actually. Also, this is the Fringe app. Can I just say, Fringe people? If you want to know how many days it's on for, when you actually look at the Fringe app, it just gives you each day by date. So I will have to go through all of them. So today's the 1st. It's on until the 15th. So,
but then if you have the paper version,
you'd be able to see it.
You can see it all.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and it does say here, actually, it's the George Mackay Brown Library, which is a small room upstairs for about 30 people. Okay. Thanks very much. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.